Good morning and welcome to Training Tuesday with Selling on eBay. I'm Laura Matheson and I'm going to talk today about research. Research. One of the things I really love about eBay is that there's plenty of opportunities to get information for free, which they are quite keen for you to know about. It's the sort of information you simply can't get on other marketplaces such as Amazon and Etsy, which is why it's so useful. So whether you're buying or selling on eBay, you want to be informed about what you're potentially buying and what you're potentially selling. So one of the first things to look at is the search bar, and that's the way most people search on eBay. They go to the search bar, they type in a few words, and then they hit return and see what comes up. And the search bar is very useful because as you type, you'll see some suggestions are given to you as you type. The suggestions come up, and these are important because these are what people are actually searching for on eBay. They are not what is available, although obviously there's a lot of overlap. So this is one way, first of all, that you can check to see whether what you want to sell is being searched for, because if nobody's searching for it and there are no suggestions, you've got to consider whether A, anybody wants your product, and B, whether you're using the right words. We're coming back to research later on because it's such a big deal, but that's a really important point. The search bar is a tool that you can use. The other useful thing is that once you've hit return and you get a list of search results, the sellers at the very top of that list are going to be, generally speaking, the very best sellers. That means they're at the top of the list for a reason. It'll be a combination of reasons, i.e. there'll be a competitive price, and they'll be a good seller, and they'll have completed their listings correctly, and all the rest of it. But you can learn a lot from them. If you find a listing and click into it, you will then see, it'll tell you how many have been sold, if more than one's been sold. So let's say you find 43 have been sold. That's a link, and when you click on the link, it will take you and show you how many of those items have been sold in the last 6 months, what price they got for them, and how many in the quantity. And if it's a multi-variation listing where perhaps it's a t-shirt in different colours, it will also show you what the different colours are that sold during that time. This is all really useful information if you're going to be selling. And equally, if you're going to be buying, what's the most popular item? If you want to buy a fashion item, for instance, and you're not sure whether to get blue shoes or brown shoes or black shoes in that style, you can go in and see what everybody else is buying. You can also find out what the most popular sizes are. All of this stuff is mostly interesting, but also useful if you're a seller. I am sorry. So the other thing that's really helpful on eBay as far as research is concerned is that you can, when you get your search results and you can see what is available for sale on eBay at any given moment, that might not be so useful if you want to know what things have sold for, especially if it's something a bit unusual and that you haven't got hundreds of different listings to compare. So on the left-hand side of the eBay page, as you look at it, there are ways to filter your search, and you can filter by size, you can filter by, depending on what the item is, you can filter in different ways. And if you scroll further down, you can refine your search and show a very useful section that is called completed items. Now, when you click on completed items, you will then see what things have actually sold for, because this is showing you listings that have ended or that are still live and items have been sold from those listings. So this is how you can tell whether, if somebody is asking for a price for a particular item, is it a realistic price or are they never going to get that price? You can further filter by sold items, and that will just show you the items that have been sold. Again, this is really helpful to understand whether or not you're getting a bargain. Generally speaking, if you want a bargain, you want to be buying at auction. That's where you tend to get the best bargains. And particularly auctions that end in the morning, because most items will come up for sale, will get the most bids when they're coming up for sale. And that when they're ending, sorry. So that means that you're less likely to get competition if you're bidding in the morning. So research is really, really important, and this is why we're going to come back to it later on. But next week we're going to look at, in our Back to Basics series, we're going to look at different ways of selling on eBay, whether you sell as an auction, or whether you sell at a fixed price or a classified ad. There are various different ways that you can sell. So how do you work out the best one for you? So we'll be looking at that next week, and I hope you can join us in our Back to Basics Selling on eBay live feeds.